Hi guys and welcome to the Euro Car Show. Today I'm in an incredible car. I'm sitting in the brand new Lexus LS 500h. This is the 2018 model and this is just out of this world. But since this is a review and not an essay on how much I love this car, although, well, you're gonna see that it's pretty much similar to that. Alright, let's start this review by talking a bit about the design. And honestly, when you compare it to its German rivals such as the Mercedes S-Class, the 7 Series from BMW, or even the A8 from Audi, honestly, this looks like a spaceship. I mean, the Germans look a bit boring. Matt Watson from Car Wow said that, and I completely agree. The design is not classic. It's not like, well, it resembles the older model and the one before and so on, and you can see small changes. No, this is something completely different that doesn't look back to the past, but actually looks forward to the future. I love the big grille, I love the taillights, I love the headlights, and the wheels. I mean, we really need to talk about those wheels. 20 inches chrome wheels. That's like early 2000 pimping world wheels, honestly, but they look so good on this car and so classy. They're just perfect, they fit the design, they merge perfectly with the lines of the car. And since we're mentioning the outside, the first thing you notice is the sheer length of this car. This is almost 5.4 meters long and it weighs almost 2.5 tons. And you can honestly see it from the outside. You don't even have to get in the car, drive it, or be driven in it. You can feel it. When you see this car, it's something imposing, it's big. It looks like this car was spec'd for Obama, not for like a random press dude somewhere in Belgium. And the exuberance doesn't end there. I mean, when you step inside and you see the seats and you see leather everywhere, I mean everywhere, even in the door bins, everywhere there's leather, Alcantara, or some sort of high-end material, so your fingertips never have to touch some disgusting plastic. And obviously, this is a Lexus, this is an LS, so the keywords are leather, 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 some Alcantara, a bit of wood, a bit of aluminium, but mostly leather. Space-wise, I mean, this is something that we're going to talk about by the end of the video, especially for the back seats and so on. But in the front, I mean, is there even a question? Of course you feel well. You feel hugged by the seats, which are just amazing. They're adjustable in 1,000 ways, which is something I've never seen on any other car so far. And everything is just made and detailed to perfection. So even if you have OCD, well, you're not gonna find any little mistake with this car. Options wise, I'm not gonna mention everything, but it ranges of course from a Lexus infotainment system, which goes with Android CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, you get the GPS, you get all the techie features, you can use apps on it. I mean, alright, nothing revolutionary here. But what you get in this car, and you don't get in most, is a huge, and when I mean huge, it's actually huge, heads-up display. I mean, it's the biggest I've ever seen in a car, and I love it. I honestly love it. It's not intrusive or anything because the car is just that big and the front view is spectacular. Of course you get heated seats, of course you get cooled seats, and of course you get one of the best massaging seats in the business. I've had the 7 Series, I've tested their massage, it's good, but not that good. Nothing close to that. And lastly, options-wise, I just want to mention how amazing the sound system is. This is something made in collaboration with Mark Levinson, and honestly, the sound is just great. We're talking about 23 speakers. That's an insane amount of speakers, and the sound is... This is probably the best sound system I've had in a car so far. Again, I know there's gonna be many first, best, and so on, but this is really it. I've never had a car like this before. But before we move on to the specs, I just want to say that, of course, this car is super silent in town, on the highway. I mean, the soundproofing is just great. But the smallest letdown of this car, if you can really call this a letdown, is the boot, which is smaller than most high-end luxury sedans boot because, well, this is a hybrid. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. So this is a hybrid, you need to stock the batteries and so on. So yeah, the boot is a bit smaller, but it should be big enough to handle all your luggage. Alright, specifications. This car, well, it's basically like the LC. It comes with the same engine, with the same gearbox. It's the brand new multi-stage hybrid, the CVT plus normal gearbox. I mean, this is a mess. It's basically a mix between a regular automatic gearbox and a CVT, and it kind of works like this 10-step automatic gearbox. So you have like 10 gears, but you don't really have 10 gears. I mean, it works. It's way better than what they used to have, which is a plain simple CVT, and it works fine. It's still a bit laggy sometimes it gets drowny, but that's fine. Honestly, that's fine because it's a million times better than what they used to have. So the engine, I said, is the same as in the LC. We're talking about 3.5 liters, obviously petrol. It's a V6, and the maximum output of this car is 360 horsepower, which honestly is not too much. Just enough. It's the perfect number for this car. Even though it weighs at almost 2.5 tons, it's fair enough. It moves, it's quick when you need it to be quick, and the four-wheel drive system will launch you to 100 kilometers per hour in about 5.5 seconds. And let's end the specs with the eco side of things. This car, on average, as tested by myself, is gonna swallow about 9 liters per 100 kilometers average. So on the highway, you're going to average probably a bit lower, somewhere around 7 to 6.7 liters. That was the best I got at 120 kilometers an hour. But in town, you should be around 10 liters per 100 kilometers or thereabout. So again, the average might be a bit higher than expected. I'd rather say 9 and you find out it's like 8.5 or 8 liters per 100 kilometers rather than I say, well, it's 7 as Toyota or Lexus said. And then it's not, because let's be honest, it's not gonna be 7 in town, or at least I couldn't do 7 in town because, well, I drive it like a regular person. I'm not like super careful, super eco and so on. I enjoy this car because this is an enjoyable car, and that's what I want to get into right now. It's the fact that in spite of the weight and in spite of, well, kind of a lack of power when you consider all the weight, and in spite of a gearbox which is great but far from being the best, this car is actually pretty fun. It's gonna accelerate rather hard, and surprisingly, it's also gonna stick to the road. So it's true that the all-wheel drive does help a lot, but the way the suspension is set, and although I know this is a comfortable car and it's gonna be set more towards comfort than handling, but it does handle. For the beast it is, this car is a handling monster. It might not handle and be as sporty as a 7 Series, but who cares, because that's not what it was meant to do. But now we're almost at our destination, and there's 2 things I want to say to you before I let you go watch some PewDiePie video or whatever. First of all, this car is built around a single idea. It wants to make you feel special. It wants you to be as comfortable as possible in a car. It wants you to feel welcome inside. It's gonna raise up when you want to get in the car. It's gonna give you a seatbelt. It's really designed to make you feel special, to make you feel like you're not like anyone else. And I know this is not a Rolls-Royce or a Maybach, but let's be honest, how many people can actually afford a car like that? Already a car like this one I'm driving right now is gonna be around 130,000 euros, but with all the options. And honestly, I don't think a Maybach or a Rolls-Royce is gonna give you that much more. Maybe a better suspension, maybe, but really, what else do you need from a car? This for me is luxury at its best. That's why I want to jump in the back of this car and tell you more about this welcoming, comfortable and luxurious Japanese product. All right, we've talked about design, we've talked about features, we've talked about options and everything. But now it's time to talk about the most important feature of this car, and that's the seat I'm in right now. And since I don't want anybody to see me, you know what? I'll put the blinds up because that's something I can do. Just the push of a button. Actually, it's not even a button. It's basically, well, it's a tiny bit noisy, but that's fine. It's basically the tablet that controls everything in the car, but we'll get back to that a bit later. Right now, I want to tell you about comfort. And these seats, I mean the 4 seats, because even though this can be a 5-seater, let's be honest, this is more of a 4-seater if you want to drive in upper luxury. And right now I'm sitting in heaven. Like, I can take my seat, simply go into the options. And you know what? I want to recline my seat a bit, and then I can do that. And I'm going down, down, and all the way down, which is amazing, to be honest with you. Right now, this is basically like 48-degree angle or 44, I can't really remember that, but that's not really important. The most important thing is this is so comfortable. Like, this is the perfect angle to sit in a car. I'm not even mentioning legroom. Like, I know this is gonna be weird, but here, my shoes. That's how much space I have right now. But you know what? Space is fine. You get space in many cars. You can get space in a van. What about the finish and the luxury? Does it really feel upscale? And from where I'm sitting, yes, it does feel upscale. You know, starting with the screens, which are very high definition, and although they might not be touchscreen, and some people said that yes, it might work better if it was a touchscreen, you know what, I don't mind that since this tablet works amazing. You can basically put a DVD and enjoy the whole ride. You have superb leather everywhere, just to remind you that, you know what, this is not your common car. This is something special. It might not be a Rolls, it might not be like a Maybach, but this is still something that's up there. I would say something that's a bit above the 7 Series, the A8, and even the Mercedes S-Class. So yes, the sitting position, out of this world. The sound, just amazing. Probably the best sound system I've ever seen in a car. The finish is superb. Even that like tacky 4,000 euro option or 6,000 euro option, you know what, you don't really need that, but if you have it and you can afford it, why not? That's what's cool about this car. It doesn't really have to make sense. All it has to do is fulfill all your desires and make you feel great, make you feel like a king, basically, like you're Harvey Specter from Suits. But you know what, that's it. I think I've done enough work for today. So while I'm reclining my seat, and you know what, I'm gonna actually set the massage this time. I think massage is a good thing. Let's first recline the seat perfectly straight. This is the maximum we can go. Oh my god, oh, this is good. And let's, you know what, let's activate the massage because I'm so tired. I had to drive an amazing 130 something thousand euros car for a week. Oh my god, this is so hard. So let's do a full body stretch. You have spot heater and so on. I don't need that right now. It's warm enough outside. And there's actually, I'm in a park, there's a dog running around. That's why I'm looking a bit outside. I'm sorry. But while I'm saying that, you know what? Why don't you give it a thumbs up? You know, just go down the video, click the thumbs up. It's pretty nice while I'm having my massage. I'm waiting, no rush. You can also, you know, leave a comment, tell me that, oh, your amazing video. I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna subscribe to your channel. And you know what? I agree with you, you should do that. You should subscribe to my channel. And with these wise words, I'm gonna leave you here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.